The security camera footage showed everything. My wife Cassandra walking poolside in a bikini I'd never seen before. A man I didn't recognize diving into our pool like he owned the place. Them laughing together, touching each other in ways that made my stomach turn. This was happening in my house, the house I'd worked 60-hour weeks to pay for, while I was at the office making sure we could afford our lifestyle. But what hurt worse than the betrayal was the disrespect. This man wasn't just sleeping with my wife. He was using my pool, drinking my beer from my fridge, probably eating my food and lounging on furniture I'd assembled with my own hands. He was living a piece of my life while I was out earning the money that made it all possible. My name is Nathan Crawford. I'm 42 years old and I've spent the last 18 years building a successful accounting firm in Phoenix. 12 of those years I've been married to Cassandra. We met at a charity fundraiser where she was working as an event coordinator. She was stunning that night in a red dress that turned every head in the room. But it was her laugh that got me, this genuine, uninhibited sound that made you want to join in even if you didn't know what was funny. Our wedding was everything Cassandra had dreamed of. Destination ceremony in Cabo San Lucas, 150 guests, and enough champagne to float a yacht. I'd just landed my 3 biggest clients that year, so money wasn't an issue. I wanted to give her everything she desired, and for a while, I thought I had. We bought a house in Paradise Valley, the kind of place with a pool, a guest house, and enough space that we never felt cramped even when Cassandra's sister Ashley came to visit for weeks at a time. Cassandra quit her event planning job after the wedding, said she wanted to focus on making our house a home. I supported that decision completely. My income was more than enough for both of us. For years, everything seemed perfect on the surface. Cassandra kept the house immaculate, hosted dinner parties that impressed my clients, and maintained her appearance with the dedication of someone who'd once worked in an industry where looks mattered. She went to yoga classes 3 times a week, got her hair done every 6 weeks, and had a personal trainer who came to the house twice a week. That personal trainer's name was Logan Hayes. The first time I met Logan, I thought he was exactly what Cassandra needed. She'd been complaining about feeling sluggish, about losing her energy. A personal trainer seemed like a practical solution. Logan was 29, built like he lived in the gym, and had that easy confidence that came from being young and physically perfect. "He's very professional," Cassandra had said after his first session. "Really knows his stuff about nutrition and exercise science." I'd shaken his hand, paid his fee, and gone back to work without a second thought. That was 6 months ago. The security cameras had been my idea, installed after a series of break-ins in our neighborhood. Nothing fancy, just basic coverage of the front door, backyard, and pool area. The footage uploaded automatically to cloud storage. I'd honestly forgotten they were even there until last Tuesday. I'd been working late at the office, finishing quarterly reports for a demanding client who wanted everything perfect before a board meeting. Around 9 p.m., I realized I'd left my iPad at home. I needed it for a presentation the next morning, so I pulled up the security camera app on my phone to check if Cassandra was still awake. If she was sleeping, I didn't want to wake her by coming in. The app showed the backyard camera first. The pool lights were on, casting that blue glow across the water. And there was Logan Hayes, swimming laps in my pool at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Alone. I switched to the inside cameras, the ones that covered the living room and kitchen. Empty. Where was Cassandra? Then Logan climbed out of the pool, water streaming off his body, and walked toward the guest house. The camera didn't cover that area, but I didn't need it to. I knew exactly where my wife was. I sat in my office for 20 minutes, just staring at my phone. My hands were shaking. My chest felt tight like someone was squeezing my heart. Part of me wanted to drive home immediately and confront them. But another part, the part that had built a successful business by thinking strategically, told me to wait. I pulled up the cloud storage and started reviewing footage from previous days. What I found made me physically sick. Logan had been at my house nearly every day for the past month, sometimes in the morning after I left for work, sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes at night. And he wasn't there to train Cassandra. He was there to be with her. The footage showed them kissing by the pool, touching each other in ways that left no doubt about their relationship. I watched them drink wine on my patio furniture, laugh at jokes I couldn't hear, and disappear into the guest house for hours at a time. One video showed Cassandra bringing him breakfast on a tray, feeding him like he was royalty. Another showed them slow dancing to music I couldn't hear, swaying together in the twilight while I was 20 miles away closing deals. But what pushed me over the edge was footage from 3 days ago. Logan diving into my pool, doing elaborate tricks like he was auditioning for the Olympics. Cassandra cheering and clapping. Him climbing out, flexing, and her running her hands over his chest like she was admiring a sculpture. This man was treating my home like his personal playground, and my wife was encouraging it. If you're finding this story valuable, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue sharing these powerful real-life experiences. And leave a comment below about a time when you discovered a betrayal. I read every single one. Now let's continue with what happened next. I drove home that night, but I didn't confront anyone. The guest house was dark when I arrived. Logan's car was gone. Cassandra was in our bedroom, already asleep or pretending to be. I lay in bed next to my wife, listening to her breathe, and realized I was sleeping next to a stranger. Everything about our marriage had been a performance. She'd played the role of devoted wife while conducting an affair so brazen it happened in our own home. The next morning, I got up at my usual time, showered, dressed, and went to work like nothing was wrong. Cassandra was still sleeping when I left. I didn't kiss her goodbye. At the office, I couldn't focus on anything. My assistant kept asking if I was feeling okay. I told her I was coming down with something, which wasn't entirely a lie. I felt sick to my stomach. During lunch, I sat in my car and called an old college friend named Mitchell who'd gone through a nasty divorce 5 years ago. He'd warned me about red flags with Cassandra before we got married, things I'd dismissed as jealousy or cynicism. "Mitch," I said when he answered, "I need advice." "Let me guess," he replied. "You finally figured out Cassandra's cheating on you." The words hit me like a punch. "How did you know?" "Buddy, I've been waiting for this call for years. The way she looked at other men at your wedding, the way she talked about your money like it was hers. I knew it was only a matter of time." We talked for an hour. Mitchell had been through hell with his ex-wife, lost half his assets, paid spousal support for 3 years. But he'd learned lessons he was willing to share. "Document everything," he said. "Don't confront her until you have a lawyer and a plan. And whatever you do, don't let emotion drive your decisions. The courts favor women in these situations. You need to be smart." I spent the afternoon meeting with Mitchell's divorce attorney, a sharp woman named Patricia Holbrook who specialized in high-asset divorces. She reviewed the security footage I'd downloaded to a thumb drive and nodded grimly. "This is good evidence," Patricia said. "Clear proof of adultery. In Arizona, that can affect spousal support calculations. But we need more. Financial records, phone records, anything that shows she's been planning this or hiding money." Over the next 2 weeks, I became a detective in my own marriage. I reviewed every bank statement, every credit card charge, every suspicious transaction. What I found was worse than the affair. Cassandra had been siphoning money from our joint account for months. Small amounts at first, $500 here, $800 there. But it added up to over $30,000 transferred to a separate account I didn't know existed. She'd also been buying expensive gifts that never appeared in our house. A Rolex watch I'd never seen her wear, diamond earrings that weren't in her jewelry box, a leather jacket that wasn't in her closet. All of it for Logan. My wife wasn't just cheating on me, she was funding her affair with my money. Patricia reviewed everything and smiled for the first time since I'd met her. "This is perfect," she said. "We can go after her for dissipation of marital assets. She'll have to pay that money back." "But I want more than money," I told her. "I want justice." "Justice is expensive," Patricia warned, "and emotionally costly. Are you sure you want to go that route?" I thought about Logan Hayes swimming in my pool, using my things, sleeping with my wife in my guest house. I thought about Cassandra laughing at me behind my back, spending my money on her lover while I worked myself exhausted. "I'm sure," I said. Patricia leaned back in her chair. "Then let's talk strategy." The plan was simple but required patience. I would continue acting normal, going to work, coming home, sleeping next to Cassandra like nothing was wrong. Meanwhile, Patricia would prepare divorce papers that would hit Cassandra with maximum impact. We'd also gather more evidence, build a cool, airtight case. But I wanted something more personal, something that would make Logan Hayes understand he'd made a serious mistake. That's when I remembered the pool. Logan loved that pool. The security footage showed him swimming nearly every time he came over. He'd do laps, dive from the side, float on his back staring at the sky like he didn't have a care in the world. The pool was his happy place, and I was going to ruin it. I called a pool supply company and ordered a special chemical compound. Nothing dangerous, nothing illegal. Just something that would turn the water a specific color when it reacted with chlorine and human body chemistry. Bright, permanent, fluorescent green. The chemical was designed for leak detection, used to track water movement in pool systems. But it had an interesting side effect. When someone with a certain skin pH level entered the water, the reaction accelerated, and the green color would stain their skin for days. I mixed the compound into the pool one evening after Cassandra had gone to bed. The water looked perfectly normal. Clear, blue, inviting. The security cameras would capture everything. 2 days later, Logan arrived at my house around 10 a.m. I was at work, monitoring everything through the camera app on my phone. Cassandra came out to greet him wearing a white bikini I'd never seen before. They kissed by the pool deck, his hands on her waist, her arms around his neck. Then Logan backed up, took a running start, and dove into the pool. The reaction was almost instantaneous. The water erupted in a cloud of brilliant green, like someone had dumped 1,000 gallons of green dye into the pool. Logan surfaced, confused, looking around at the water that had transformed from clear blue to swamp green in seconds. He tried to wipe his face, but his hands came away stained bright green. His hair, his skin, his swim trunks. Everything was turning fluorescent green. Cassandra was screaming, running around the pool, trying to figure out what happened. Logan climbed out, and I could see even from the grainy camera footage that his entire body was stained green. Not just a light tint. Deep, vivid, unmistakable green. He tried washing off with the hose, but the stain had already set into his skin. The chemical compound was designed to be permanent, lasting at least a week before fading. Logan looked like a radioactive swamp creature. I sat in my office laughing so hard I had tears running down my face. The look on his face when he realized the green wasn't coming off was absolutely priceless. Cassandra called me at work about 20 minutes later, her voice panicked. "Nathan, something terrible happened to the pool. There's something wrong with the chemicals. Logan was swimming and now he's turned green." "Logan?" I asked innocently. "What was Logan doing at our house?" She hesitated, caught off guard. "He was just, checking on some equipment for his training business, and he decided to go." "Swimming?" I kept my voice casual, curious rather than accusatory. "Well, he was hot and I said he could cool off. But Nathan, he's bright green now. Like really green. What's wrong with the pool?" "I'll call the pool company," I said. "Don't let anyone else swim until they check it out." After I hung up, I called Patricia. "It's done," I said. "The evidence is collected and I just gave Logan Hayes a mark that'll last a week." Patricia laughed. "You actually did it? The pool staining? Every second is on camera. Him arriving, them kissing, him diving in, the green explosion. All of it. When are you serving the papers?" "Tomorrow morning, I'll have Cassandra served at the house. Logan will probably be there based on his pattern." "Make sure you're somewhere safe when it happens," Patricia warned. "People react unpredictably when cornered." The next morning, I left for work at my usual time. At 9 a.m., a process server arrived at my house. I watched through the security cameras as Cassandra answered the door in her robe. The server handed her the divorce papers and explained what they were. Cassandra's face went through several emotions in rapid succession. Shock, confusion, anger, fear. Then Logan came to the door, still bright green despite obviously having scrubbed himself raw. He looked ridiculous in the daylight, like someone had dunked him in green paint. The server looked at Logan, looked at Cassandra, and I could see her putting the pieces together. She handed Logan a separate set of papers. "These are for you," the server said. "Alienation of affection lawsuit. You're being sued for $500,000 in damages." Logan's green face somehow managed to go pale underneath the stain. Arizona didn't have alienation of affection laws, but Logan didn't know that. I just wanted him to sweat for a while before he figured it out. Cassandra started screaming at the server, demanding to know what was happening. Logan tried to calm her down, but she turned her fury on him. "This is your fault!" she screamed. "I told you we needed to be more careful." The server left and I watched Cassandra and Logan argue on my front porch. He was gesturing wildly, still dripping green water on my doorstep. She was crying and yelling. It would have been funny if it hadn't been my marriage disintegrating. Over the next week, things moved quickly. Patricia filed motions for emergency orders protecting our assets. We froze the joint accounts, preventing Cassandra from draining anything else. We also served notice that she needed to vacate the house within 30 days. Cassandra hired a lawyer, some overpriced divorce specialist who charged $500 an hour to tell her what she didn't want to hear. Arizona was a no-fault divorce state, but the evidence of her affair and financial misconduct would impact spousal support. Her lawyer tried to negotiate. Cassandra wanted the house, half my business assets, and permanent spousal support. She claimed she'd sacrificed her career for our marriage and deserved compensation. Patricia shut that down immediately. Your client committed adultery and embezzled over $30,000 from marital accounts. She's lucky we're not pursuing criminal charges. Logan Hayes disappeared. His personal training business shut down overnight. His social media accounts went dark. The green stain eventually faded, but by then his reputation was destroyed. Someone leaked security footage of the pool incident to social media. Within days, Logan became a meme, Green Pool Guy. The videos spread across TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. People made jokes about the affair, about the poetic justice of the staining, about karma in chemical form. Logan's life was ruined, at least temporarily, and I didn't feel bad about it for a second. The divorce proceedings took 3 months. Cassandra fought every step, trying to portray herself as the victim. She claimed I'd neglected her, worked too much, didn't appreciate her. Her lawyer even tried to argue that I'd intentionally poisoned Logan, which would have been funny if it wasn't so absurd. The chemical was harmless, just embarrassing. In the end, the settlement was fair by legal standards, but felt like a win to me. Cassandra got minimal spousal support for 2 years, just enough to get on her feet. She got her car and personal possessions. That's it. I kept the house, my business, and most of our assets. The $30,000 she'd stolen was deducted from her settlement. The day she moved out, I stood in my driveway and watched her load boxes into a rental truck. She looked older somehow, worn down by the stress of the divorce and the public humiliation. "I hope you're happy," she said bitterly as she walked past me. "Getting there," I replied. After she left, I walked through the house room by room. It felt different now, lighter somehow, like a weight had been lifted. The pool was clean again, professionally serviced, and restored to its original condition. I stood by the edge, looking at the clear blue water, and felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no regret. Just peace. I called my brother Daniel that evening. He'd been supportive throughout the divorce, checking on me regularly, making sure I wasn't spiraling. "It's over," I told him. "She's gone. How you feeling?" "Honestly? Relieved. I should have seen this coming years ago." Daniel was quiet for a moment. You know what Mom used to say. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. He was right. Cassandra had shown me who she was from the beginning. Someone who valued money and status over genuine connection. Someone who could lie with a smile. Someone who saw marriage as a transaction rather than a partnership. I'd just been too in love to see it. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I was a different man living a different life. I'd sold the Paradise Valley house. Too many bad memories. Instead, I bought a smaller place in Scottsdale, a modern loft with clean lines and no set pool. The accounting firm was thriving. Turns out, when you're not emotionally destroyed by a failing marriage, you can actually focus on work. I'd taken on 3 new major clients and expanded into business consulting. I'd also started dating again, casually at first. Just coffee or dinner with women I met through friends or at professional events. Nothing serious. I wasn't ready for serious. But then I met Julia. She was a financial analyst for a tech company, brilliant with numbers, funny in this dry, sarcastic way that made me laugh unexpectedly. We met at a conference in San Diego where I was speaking about tax strategies for small businesses. After my presentation, she approached me with questions about a specific depreciation scenario. We ended up talking for 2 hours about accounting regulations, which sounds boring but was actually fascinating. When I asked for her number, she looked surprised. "Really? You want to talk more about tax code?" I laughed. "Maybe not tax code, specifically, but definitely more conversation with you. We talked on the phone every night for 2 weeks before our first actual date. When we finally met for dinner, it felt like coming home. Easy, natural, comfortable. Julia knew about my divorce. I'd been honest about it from the beginning. She'd been through her own relationship disaster, engaged to a guy who'd turned out to be a compulsive liar. "We're both damaged goods," she joked over our third date. "Or maybe," I suggested, "we're just people who learned hard lessons about who to trust." She smiled at that. I like that better. What I loved about Julia was her honesty. No games, no manipulation, no hidden agendas. She said what she meant what she said. After Cassandra's constant deception, Julia's straightforward nature was incredibly refreshing. A year after meeting Julia, I proposed. We were hiking in Sedona, surrounded by red rocks and clear blue sky. Nothing fancy, just the two of us and a ring I'd chosen. Carefully. She said yes without hesitation. Our wedding was small, just family and close friends. No destination ceremony, no excessive spending. We got married in a garden, had dinner at our favorite restaurant, and spent our honeymoon camping in Montana. It was perfect. Not because it was expensive or impressive, but because it was real. Looking back on everything that happened with Cassandra and Logan, I don't regret a single decision I made. The surveillance, the pool staining, the aggressive legal strategy. All of it was necessary to reclaim my life and my dignity. Some people called my actions petty or vindictive. They said I should have taken the high road, just walked away quietly. But here's what I learned through that experience. Sometimes the high road means letting people walk all over you. Sometimes dignity means standing up for yourself and making sure there are consequences for betrayal. Logan Hayes thought he could use my home, seduce my wife, and face no repercussions. He learned otherwise. Cassandra thought she could have her affair, spend my money on her lover, and still claim half my assets in a divorce. She learned otherwise too. The pool incident became legendary in our social circle. People still bring it up at parties, laughing about the poetic justice of it all. Logan's green-stained face became a warning to other would-be homewreckers. Think twice before you swim in another man's pool. As for Cassandra, I heard she moved to California and started over. Good for her. I hope she found whatever she was looking for. I genuinely mean that. Not because I forgive her, but because carrying anger is exhausting and I'm done wasting energy on someone who doesn't deserve it. These days, I wake up next to Julia in our Scottsdale loft. We drink coffee on our balcony, talk about our plans for the day, make each other laugh. It's simple. It's honest. It's everything my first marriage wasn't. Sometimes she'll ask about Cassandra, about what I learned from that relationship. And I always give the same answer. I learned that trust is earned, not given. That love without respect is worthless. And that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a better life without the people who tried to destroy you. The pool incident was just the beginning of my new life. The green water was symbolic, a visible representation of how toxic my marriage had become. Watching Logan emerge from that pool, stained and exposed, was watching the truth come to light in the most literal way possible. And that truth set me free. If you found this story valuable, if it resonated with your own experiences of betrayal and recovery, please share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Leave a comment below about your own journey through infidelity or divorce, and subscribe to this channel for more real stories about ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges. Because the truth is, we all face moments that test us, moments where we have to decide who we want to be when everything falls apart. I chose to be strategic, to protect myself, to ensure justice was served. And I'd make the same choice again in a heartbeat. The water in that pool turned green for a week, but the clarity I gained from that experience has lasted a lifetime. Sometimes you need to see the poison to understand how toxic your environment has become. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. You can only decide what to do next. I chose to drain the pool, clean the water, and start fresh. Not just with the pool, but with my entire life. Best decision I ever made.